picked up where you left off there. How pleased are you with that performance?
Very pleased. It was just about getting the 3 points, keeping the momentum that we've got. And we showed that, started off great. Sean with his qualities in the final third there. A great finish, wasn't it? So really pleased to get off to a good start.
It feels like you're taking your chances, whereas earlier in the season we were talking about not doing that. I think you've demonstrated in the last week and the last 2 games that you're doing that. How satisfying is that, and how important is it to keep it up?
It is very satisfying, and it's so important to keep it up. But that's where you're challenging the lads consistently to do that. Obviously you've got to create the chances first and foremost, whichever way they come. Whether you're getting the ball wide with nice passing, whether you're living off second balls and you're picking first ball contact and picking second balls up. Whatever that situation is, and then when you do get the chance, you do have to take it. And today we showed that.
You mentioned him there. We almost run out of superlatives for Sean Worley. 2 assists, another wonderful goal. How much is he setting the tone for everything you want for everybody else at the moment?
He does. He sets the standards in training and around, off the field. I spoke about it the other day. He's just got qualities. He's a quality human being to start off with. But in terms of what people can see on the pitch, he just drives everyone on. He's infectious. He loses the ball. He doesn't sulk. There's no bad body language. He's just after it, and then he'll win you the throw-in or win the ball back and then put you back on the front foot. So, as you said, there's no words to describe him, really.
How important was that second goal, do you think, right on the stroke of half-time, especially coming from that set piece? And Donald Love hasn't scored in a while and took it really well.
Well, it is important because it's 1-0. The next goal is always important to whoever gets it, and you hope it's you, and it was us. And you've got to give Jed Brannan credit for that because he works on the set plays, and this one's come off. It was outstanding. So worked on it Thursday, Friday, and then Donald was the one with the quality that put the ball in the back of it, what we touched on. But I think in the first half, in terms of Ollie Wright and goal, they had a bit of the ball, but he wasn't really tested, I don't think. It was, we had them at arm's length. There was one where I think it was just some sort of cross, and it took a deflection. He's crawled it sort of out. So that was the only one really in terms of that. But the importance of getting the goal right on half-time was fantastic for us.
Yeah, Cheltenham had their moments, didn't they? And there were opportunities in there. We talked about taking chances, though. To get that third one, and Devon Matthews to get his first Accrington Stanley goal, I know he's been waiting a long time. I guess that's a massive milestone for him.
Yeah, as I said, I think in the moments they had was with the first half one that I can only remember Ollie doing that, and then the second half there was a couple of shots right at him really. And then there was corners which we defended really well. Faram Rawson gets his head on things, and he just. He's a stopper, isn't he? Defends really well and gets you on the front foot, so he's aggressive in both boxes. And what you just touched on there with Devon Matthews, we've been desperate for Devon to score again. It's another great set piece. I mean, the one before that nearly worked with Seamus going in round the back. So again, it's credit to Jed Brannan. He works on them tirelessly, and for Devon to be on the end of one that they've worked on is fantastic.
I think before today, only 2 teams, maybe 3 teams in the division had conceded fewer goals at home. I guess it'll be a frustration that you've conceded at all because you pride yourself on those clean sheets. But how important is that defensive solidity to you?
It is. Well, you won't hear in the dressing room, but I've gone in the dressing room, they're all sort of having a little pop at each other because they didn't keep a clean sheet. And the clean sheets are important because clean sheets give you a platform to go forwards and to go and win the games or take points from games. So, it was disappointing. Spoke to 1 or 2 about it and how it's sort of come about, but I'll be splitting hairs and nitpicking. So we'll focus on winning the game, picking the 3 points up and doing really well.
You got 2 of your new loanees out onto the pitch in Butterfield who we've seen before, and Abim Bowler for the first time. Tell us about him coming in from Bolton Wanderers, and I guess you've seen a little glimpse of him today for the fans.
Yeah, well, he came in for Dave. It's probably happened a little bit quick. I know he's known about it for a week, but in terms of him coming in, he's trained with us yesterday for the first time. We've got him on, I think it's 20 minutes or so, and he knows now what it's about. So he knows whether he's played 2 up front or he's played by himself. He knows how much graft he's got to put in for the shirt and the supporters in this club. He's got quality. He's been prolific for the youth team, for Julian Darby's youth team, I think it was, when he's won cups and leagues there. So now he's stepping up, and everyone sees the size of him, what he is, but he's still a young man. He's 18. So now he'll learn with us. We'll give him what he needs to give, and that'll be the platform to go on. We'll train him, we'll coach him, we'll guide him on and off the field, and hopefully he can produce on the field for us.
A couple of days left before the deadline. Are you looking done? Is there still the potential for more?
There's always the potential for more. I said the squad is what it is, and we've still got lads. We've got Charlie Brown, Charlie Caton's still there on the bench. You've got Josh Smith, you've got Charlie, all long-term injury. You've got, I'm trying to think as well, Finn Sunstall, you've got Tyler Walton coming back. So, you know, it's looking, and on long-term Kelsey Mooney, but it's looking good for us. But as I said, it's one where we've been talking to people, whether they come, whether they don't. That's another matter. In terms of what we've got, we're pleased with what we've got as well.
But there's still the capacity to be able to make additions permanently, I would guess, with the number of loans you've got?
That's the one what we want with because we've got 5 loans. We don't want 6 loans. You can have as many loans as you want, but you can only pick 5 on a team sheet. So we had that problem last year. Sonny Al Joffrey was really patient with everything, and then look what happened to him in terms of the performances that he put on and the appearances that he got. So, you know, we'd rather make it permanent than loans, but if it has to be a loan, it has to be a loan. But as I said, we'll to watch this space.
And just on Paddy Madden, who wasn't in your 18 today, I know there was a bit of an injury scare with him in the week. What's the situation?
No, Paddy's fine. So he was just sick. So he's got a bit of illness. So we were just, it was one of them that, you know, you could try and force him to play. Not force him, but you can ask him to go through it for you. But it wasn't. We've got, as I said, we've got a squad to cope with that.